Hi, I'm Ken. I've had enough. I speak to lots of fundraisers daily from all over the world. And the more and more I speak to people, I realize there's a dirty little secret to fundraising. And you know what the dirty little secret is? We don't ask enough for large leadership, major, or planned gifts. Gifts that require face-to-face, one-to-one fundraising. We just don't ask. I'm going to focus more on planned giving because of the reluctance to ask is more pronounced in the area of planned giving. There's something that's always befuddled me. Since the late 1980s, right up to the present, lots of research has been done in the area of planned giving. And there's generally two main questions. One is, have you included a charitable organization in your will? And the other question is, would you consider putting a charity in your will if you were asked? Have you made the arrangements? Do you plan to, or would you if you were asked? And the results for the last 35 years have been consistent. 8 to 10% of people have put a charity in the will, but 30 to 40% of the general population intend to or would if they were asked. 10 to 40%. That's tremendous growth. But my question, and what befuddles me, is why, after 35 years, do we get the same results? I believe that hints at the dirty little secret. But first, I'm Ken. This is the Empowerment Dialogue for Fundraisers YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel dedicated to empowering fundraisers to then empower others. It's also a forum for everything to do with fundraising. I welcome your comments, your questions, and please subscribe. We have a growing subscription rate. Please subscribe and you'll be notified of the next video coming up. And give a thumbs up. That always helps YouTube put this discussion, this forum, in front of more fundraisers. Back to the dirty little secret. I want to tell you a story. This is a story of a lovely lady who is a senior volunteer for a long-term care hospital foundation. That foundation wanted to start to build their planned giving program. So she agreed, it's quite unusual, to become a staff person. She worked 3 days a week, but she did events too, and her job was to develop a planned giving program. So they called me in, and I sat down with this lady, and I said, you're known in the community, you're respected, you're very personable. I think I should just train you to ask for the gift. And that's what I did. So I trained her in a very simple way to ask for the gift. Simple, but the correct way. We developed a list of 75 or 80 people. I said, okay, just meet these people through the upcoming year and ask them to include the hospital foundation in their estate plans. That's it. Just ask them. So she did. And we went back and forth during the year. I helped her out with some particular potential donors. But at the end of the year, I said, okay, we have to measure now what we've done. And the way we measure a planned giving program is the number of gift commitments, the solid commitments that we've received over a period of time. She said, Ken, I haven't done very well. I said, well, I'll judge if you've done well. How'd you do? She said, I only got 46 gift commitments. I looked at her and I said, you don't realize it, but you have probably secured more planned gift commitments, hard commitments, working 1.5 days a week in the course of 1 year than any other fundraiser in the country. I learned in a very dramatic way the power of asking. But you know what? We don't ask. We don't engage, and we don't ask. I was in discussion last year with the marketing director of a very large, successful plan-giving marketing company that uses electronic surveys and email drips to cultivate, to develop leads for charitable organizations. And he told me, he said, Ken, it's frustrating. Because I said, this marketing organization has to produce gifts. He says, well, what we're really good at is creating leads, lead generation. Keep in mind that with every survey, a phone call or a contact is required to clarify what the individual meant, to judge the level of commitment, and to start to build a personal relationship. He said, we produce hundreds of thousands of leads, but the biggest challenge is our clients, the charities, this is North America. In North America, do not follow up. They don't engage. They don't ask. They don't cultivate and re-ask. Just recently, I was talking to a plan-giving officer from a large tertiary care hospital. I said, tell me about your plan-giving program. Oh, she said, it's quite active. We do this for lead generation. We do that. I said, how many leads do you have in your pipeline? And she said, we have almost 1,000 leads. I said, 1,000 leads? Wow. And I had to envision, you must be bringing in 100, 150 plan gifts a year. I said, what is your goal for the number of plan gifts in a year? And she said, 38, 40. I said, wow. I said, tell me about your program for following up. She said, we never have time. We're so busy in that. A lot of those people will rise to the surface kind of on their own, let us know when they put us in the will. But I said, wow, you're leaving a lot on the table. The dirty little secret. We don't ask for the gifts. We get hidden under layers of administration, so that we cannot find the time. It's like we've got our priorities all mixed up. Oh, we have meetings on this. We have team meetings. We have foundation-wide meetings. We have updates on new developments in the hospital or the university or whatever. I say, yeah, but what if you dedicated a certain amount of time every day, or one whole day, or 2 days a week? I'm thinking back to the lady I trained who didn't know anything about fundraising. She just asked for the gifts. The other thing I hear is, I'm building relationships. And that always is a bit of a red flag to me, because our job is not to build relationships. I know that's almost heretical to say that. Our jobs are to get gifts. That's in our job descriptions. We can do that by building relationships. But building the relationship is not the end goal. There was a time in fundraising, late 1990s, and it was the headline of a number of conferences. Fundraising should be friend-raising. Do you remember that? Perhaps you're too young. Friend-raising. And I just cringe when I hear that. And I've said this many times. We can never be friends with prospective donors. Because if we're friends, we are not acting ethically. because a friend's job is never to get money from the friend. We can't be friends. There's a clear line there. Our jobs are to get gifts. That's why we're paid. We should take a close look at the efficiency of our organizations. How do you measure it? Well, one of the things you can do is looking at how many people you engage and ask consistently, and how many of those you close. How many of those do you get the gift? Now, yes, we need lead generation. Or area of leadership and plan gifts, you need lead generation. But once you get those leads, once people signify interest, there's clear closing ratios to those. And we have to get way better at this. It also begs the questions, what are our jobs? We have to put that on the table. Keep this dirty little secret in mind and put that one on the table for every organization, for yourself. Of course, we have to be trained to ask the right way. We need the structure of how to have a conversation that leads prospective donors through a decision cycle. We have to learn the language to use. We have to work on our personal skills, how we relate, how do we connect. We have to learn that. That's a craft. We can do it. But you know what? Where does that training usually happen in our industry? Kind of happens on the job. Bump your head, try to figure it out. Doesn't have to be. I know I've dedicated, in my later years, I've dedicated a lot of my efforts to training people to ask for gifts. However, the dirty little secret, we don't ask enough. Am I wrong in this? Let me know. Great talking to you. Thanks for watching. And as always, good fundraising.